Frequently asked question number 76. Do I need to change the soil mix according to the season? Now guys, this is completely incorrect. Please do not change your soil quite often. Please do not repot your succulent quite often. Remember, as we have spoken about this earlier as well, the more you leave your succulent alone, the much better it will grow. Repotting it every now and then is not going to be a very good idea, especially during different seasons, because that's completely unnecessary. The succulent will do quite well, be it winters, be it summers, be it the monsoon season. All you have to do is just leave the succulent alone. You have to do a visual check probably every 2 weeks or probably every 3 weeks, and that is just to check if there are any bugs or not. And when the soil is completely bone dry is when you tend to do a complete watering, depending upon the variety of succulent. Other than that, please do not touch your succulent. But yes, there are two instances wherein we do repot our succulents. One is when the succulent tends to overgrow the pot or tends to become root bound, which is very rare because it takes a very long time for a succulent to get root bound. For example, if this is a 7 centimeter pot, probably in another 2.5 years, the succulent might get root bound depending upon the variety and the genus of succulent. Some genus of succulents will grow much more slower or will tend to grow roots much slower compared to the others. So it also depends upon the type of succulent, how big your pot is. Now this is a 7 centimeter pot, so probably in another 2 years time or 2.5 years or even 3 years, it might take to repot the succulent. So until then, the succulent is going to be sitting in this pot. And or let's say that you're not very sure, you can always check the drain hole. Once you tend to see that the roots are starting to come out from the drain hole, that indicates that the succulent is getting root bound in the pot, which again is going to take a very long time. It's not that something which happens within 6 months or within a year or so. It's going to take a very long time for the roots to start coming out from the drain hole. If you remember, I had made a video on it. I'll put the link in the description below. You can check it out. That succulent was there in that pot for a very long time, and I had not moved that succulent at all, and you've seen how the roots were starting to come out from the drain hole, and that's when you tend to repot. So that was one instance. Now the second instance is, let's say for some reason there is some damage to your succulent. Probably the soil is not very good, your succulent is not able to grow in the soil mix that you have prepared, and now you get to know that your soil mix was incorrect. So that is the time when you can repot your succulent by making a new loose, porous, well draining soil. Or let's say that you have overwatered your succulent and now the lower leaves are turning mushy and the soil is taking a longer period of time to dry, so you will have to uproot the succulent from that soil and let it air dry. And apart from that, let's say that there is some issue with the succulent. You tend to see that the succulent leaves are falling, they are turning yellow, and you tend to notice that the stem is turning darker in color. That is again when you're going to repot your succulent. You're basically going to uproot your succulent to check what exactly is the issue, because if there is a rot, you definitely have to uproot the succulent. So these were the two instances wherein you tend to repot, or when you tend to remove the succulent out of the soil. You do not change the soil mix according to the season. The soil remains the same. Remember, the less you touch your succulent, the more healthy your succulent will grow. So guys, I hope that this succulent FAQ was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.